You're watching Network Radio. Live from the Media Broadcasting Center.
And good evening, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Faith in Today's World. It's I just got in the door and was very glad I finally made it. It was quite a drive home. So I would like to start today's show as usual, even though it's our second one. I'll call the second show the usual show, with a prayer just to open our time together. Dear Lord, thank you for getting us home safely on our travels back from our destinations and getting us back in time for doing the show. Hope you bless our time together and give us strength to be open in our sharing and be able to exchange wisdom in Christ and give us each other strength in this journey that we have facing everything that we confront on a daily basis in today's world. Bless everybody in the group. Give them strength in their individual needs and prayers. And may they find strength and solace within inside of the fellowship that you have provided for us. In Jesus' name, amen. Yeah, it was quite of a little adventure getting back here on time and so forth. So I'll be a little kerfuddled making sure all the buttons work and the sound's good and so forth until I get a chance to settle in a little bit. But I think everything is going. It looks like all my little buttons. I'm your host, Mark Russell, for I'm sure through these first few shows we'll have quite a few newcomers. I hope we have quite a few newcomers on every show. But this is only our second one, so I'll open it by just kind of giving a short critique of what the show is about and so forth. We try to keep the show to being a matter of sharing our experiences, sharing our knowledge, exchanging ideas and what's happened in our life in a weekly basis or what's happening in your life today, that we can gain some guidance and some knowledge and some fellowship in the challenges that we face being of faith, following Christ. Not only in our own personal challenges, and I know I have many of them, but in the overall challenges of dealing in the variety of topics and avenues that we all face. We may feel we're alone, but I'm sure we're absolutely not alone. I know that for a fact. But we'll be quite surprised on how we reach out and listening to other people, just how much others are going through exactly the same thing. The society has so segregated us. I think that's been one of the premises of trying to belong to a church and so forth, to have this type of fellowship and to build a support around us. For myself, being newer in the faith and much more of a discerning personality for myself in my experiences with quote unquote religion, I found it so very difficult so far to find that fellowship around my local area, as in going to a church per se. I just haven't found that connection yet. It doesn't mean I'll stop looking, but I just haven't found it. So I ask for guidance every day in my life. I ask the Lord to direct and help spread some light on the path that He's got spread out for me. And one of the things that I did was do this show. Not a Bible study, not a evangelistic thumping scripture end of things. I'm not qualified for that in the first place. I'm new to studying the Bible, and I try to do the best I can and learn as much as I can on a daily basis. But I definitely haven't been a studier for 20 plus years, as so many more out there are. And I think there's tons of avenues that I search through on YouTube and a number of different resources that provide that. But the one thing I noticed when I was trying to find something was there wasn't just this day-to-day life connection, or just, lack of a better term, just as normal people having a platform where we can discuss and talk about things, yeah, ask questions. If we can't find the answers, then it's something that I can write down, or the listeners can write down, and then help into next week's show and so forth. So that's kind of the general platform. It's not a debate show. It's not discussing anything in regards to is there a God or isn't there a God. It's not an open free for all and so forth. So as far as calling in and getting into those type of debates and the rest of it, this isn't a platform for it. It won't be entertained whatsoever. This is strictly going to be for fellowship and walking in faith today. That's what the general purpose and the platform of the show is. I hope we can grow together in our faith, uh, gain knowledge and wisdom with it. I think that's part of our responsibilities with inside of the teachings of Christ, is to always improve, keep on searching to be better. We're never going to be perfect. We're never going to be without sin, but we can always try, and we can always keep on moving forward to being a little better each day. And that's all I try to accomplish for myself, or I just get overwhelmed and think the problems are just too big. And I think that's pretty well what a lot of people in my experience so far, that this is what they have um, come across as well. That it's just too massive a lot of the times, and the problems seem so overwhelming, and they end up not reaching out or growing as much as maybe they could be. So that's kind of the purpose. The numbers on the bottom are our toll free. I really encourage people to call in and to share. Um, as I said, I'm just a normal guy who's fairly new to the faith. I put this on in order to give us a platform to maybe help improve each other's lives, and to grow um, with inside of our relationship to Christ, and make our journey maybe a little bit easier, and at least a little bit more direction in the right way. So I encourage you to call in. It's toll-free number is 866-806-6264. I'm producing the show, so that's why you're seeing me look down sometimes, and I'm pushing buttons and trying to make sure things are going somewhat okay. And then I put it up on our archives and so forth, so you can always have access to it. Share it with your friends by all means. Um, and it's both in a MP3 and an MP4 format, so you can also download the show and listen to it whenever you want to. Um, so I encourage everybody to share it with everybody you know, and help grow the fellowship. If you call in into the toll-free number, the 6264, you'll get a ring. I get a window that comes up with inside of my program here. I have to call forward that into my chat room on the program. So let the phone ring. Give me a chance to answer it and forward the call. You'll be then prompted to enter a code, and that's the numbers that you see in the white, the 149-952-5293. That number will could actually connect you into the room and bring you up, and then you just have to listen for me to prompt you that you're on the air. That numbering in the white will change per every week as a new meeting room is made for that particular program. That number will change. Our toll-free number in the red is always the same. And of course, that's my name above there, Mark Russell. I'm your host with this. And by all means, you're more than welcome to email me, contact me through the Facebook groups, and Media Broadcast Center has its own Facebook group, and also our website at webookyourshow.com. So that's kind of the introductories. I'll be right back after we have a fellowship song. I like to start the show off with that after this little introduction, and as we get a few more shows going, I'll stop doing the little bit introduction, and it'll be just our prayer and then our opening song, and we'll have a couple of segments, and then a song into the half hour, and then at the top of the hour as well. And just depending on the participation and so forth, the shows will run as long as they do. And if they're short and concise, I would just assume keep them that way. If there's not more going on than just to ramble or to keep repeating anything or so forth. So this is a very interactive show. By all means, too, if you ever want to be a guest or a co-host with me, and have a discussion about a specific topic, how it relates to living in today's world, and you want to share your testimony and your experiences and talk about a specific thing, I'd love to hear from you and have you on with me and have a roundtable discussion about it. And that's kind of what this is, really my intent of this show is for offering this platform for everybody to grow and to share. So I'll put on our first opening hymn here and song. These are a wonderful group that, as I was looking around for things to share, it's the Hillsong Live. I encourage you to look them up on YouTube. They have a ton of work out there. I think they're just awesome, but I'll let you judge for yourselves. We'll be right back as soon as it's done.
Christ is my reward and all of my devotion. Now there's nothing in this world that could ever satisfy. Through every trial, my soul will sing, no turning back. I've been set free. Christ is enough for me. Christ is enough for me. Everything I need is in you. Everything I need. Christ, my all in all, the joy of my salvation. And this hope will never fail. Heaven is my home. Through every storm, my soul will sing, Jesus is here. To God be the glory. Christ is enough for me. Christ is enough for me. Everything I need decided to follow Jesus. No turning back, no turning back. I have decided to follow Jesus. No turning back, no turning back. The cross before me, the world behind me. No turning back, no turning back. The cross before me, the world behind me. No turning back, no turning back. And Christ is enough for me. Christ is enough for me. Everything I need is in you. Everything I need. I have decided to follow Jesus. No turning back, no turning back. I have decided to follow Jesus. No turning back, no turning back. The cross before me, the world behind me. No turning back, no turning back. The cross before me, the world behind me. No turning back, no turning back. No turning back, no turning back.
I think these guys are just awesome. And again, if you have any suggestions of things that you would like to see on the show or have played, please forward them. I'd be more than glad to share them with everybody. So tonight's topic is being out there. And it was kind of amazing to me. I was really kind of pumped after last Sunday's show. I'm trying to also, after I saw it, try to end the ums and so forth. I'll be getting used to this much more, and it's also a lot more easier with actually speaking with somebody instead of me just speaking in. I'm not the best public speaker yet, but I will try to keep on getting better. The the kind of the reason I picked that topic for this show is I woke up on Sunday and I was feeling on top of the world, and I was just feeling blessed that I finally had made the choice after a couple of weeks of putting this show together and taking this space from the network to actually air it and so forth and take it on. And I was glad I got the first one underneath my belt. And it was almost a coming out for me. Some of my friends and people that know me know I'm very active in the knowledge end of things about the way our current systems work and the monetary systems and all the different rabbit holes of knowledge that's been going on. And that kind of brought me in my whole journey to Christ, that I came through from a more very practical, logical side that then sparked my heart, and the two of them joined. So I have kind of this whole base of how the system works in a very practical, worldly, secular manner, common law, kings and queens, and history, and that avenue of things, and was always advocating at that end of it. But I had never been publicly out with my relationship with Christ, and I don't like the term myself Christian, much more of a disciple of Christ or a follower of Christ. I don't like what the word Christianity is being turned into and its labels the system is used and the atrocities that the church has used under the Christianity banner. And I absolutely believe it was the term and the labeling Christianity was and is nothing more than a satanic Satan's way of subverting Christ's message and working the masses against Christ. So that's my belief, and all the evidence has run me to that. But I'd never come out of that kind of shell up until a week or so prior through different postings and different messages, and then of course last week's show. So for me, it was a big step and a big coming out, and it was a challenge and a great empowerment and a great relief at the same time. It was a very big mix of emotions. So I thought it very curious. I woke up so hyped and feeling good on Monday and all full of myself and everything else, not in a conceited way or anything, but just all pumped up. And right away, Sunday, it's a part of my ritual is, I thank the Lord for waking me up. I get my cup of coffee. Before I get to the computer screen here, I thank the Lord for getting me through another night, welcoming me to another day. I ask for guidance through that day, that I can do His work, and that He sheds light onto that path and gives me strength to follow it. And I saw a meme, and I was just thinking of those couple of lines, and I went, you know what, I got to share this. So I put it out and I shared it, and I put it around to the 5 or 10 groups that I belong to on Facebook, all Christ related and Christian related groups. And as I finished that, I was really slapped that, wait a minute, you didn't put it on your page. How come? And I was thinking about it, and it was like, okay, wait a minute. The only people who are going to turn into the shows that is the Christ-minded or faith-minded people, and the ones that wouldn't, by my opening, they're off the air because they know they're not going to call in and get a debate out of me or even a discussion that way. So the first thing that struck me was, well, buddy, you haven't come out here at all. You're still playing this little bit of a fence between being correct to the ones that don't want to hear things and that you think you have to be careful to, so they hear you with all your other messages, or they hear you in other platforms, or you don't want the backlash, you don't want the ridicule. I had just floods of things going all over my head. And I went, what is the matter with me? Like, what is going on? I just didn't get that. And this is all happening like in a 2-3 minute surge of heart and mind and questioning. And I just went, you're being ridiculous. And I threw it on my page. And I came out as soon as I posted it, and I went, you know what, this is about being out there. You cannot hide behind anything. This is about being in the faith of Christ, being within inside of your beliefs, following the word and sharing that and living it. Um, for my personality and how I am personally, I'm not this great talker. I'm not a preacher. I'm not a um, very well versed on all the scriptures, let alone a scholar on them, or a huge discerner on them. I know from what I've been studying and what I've been doing so far, I know what that is to my heart and what that means to me in these teachings that I've picked up through the resources that I've had, um, what they mean to me and my relationship with Christ and how they've affected me, and what they have given me in those moments. And one thing I spoke with my wife about the last few times in our conversations is I've been constantly amazed as how I'm searching for an answer for something or a clue about where I'm going or which way do I turn here, and within an hour and sometimes right away and sometimes the next morning I get this snippet of where to go and where to turn, and like the answer is just there. And this isn't just here and there. I mean, it's so prominent that I'm just going, thank you, and take it and run. And I was amazed that within about 10 minutes of me putting this post up on my personal page, um, I came across a YouTuber for one of the studyings I was doing. And within there, the brother said in his sermon, you can deny you are not made in the image of God, but you can't escape it. And that was just so powerful for me in the context of what I'd just gone through in that morning. It was kind of that whole realization for me is that what held me back was the backlash I'd get from all these truther groups and knowledge groups I belonged to. And I knew that a good 90% of them is all this denying of Christ and denying of God and all that avenue of things from their belief base. And I wouldn't know, I had no definitive answer for them other than getting into the long drawn out debates, is there a God or isn't there, and so forth. I didn't have an internal answer for them. And that was it for me. It was that incredibly simple, all encompassing phrase, it doesn't matter whether you believe in God or not. You can't escape it. It was just made so connectively clear for me. And I had a few of those other lines for myself that I always considered and used. Um, I've always used, for instance, and I've always believed, it doesn't matter whether you believe in Christ or not, he believes in you. Um, so this one just fit in there so easily to the questions and the troubling that I was having in my heart at the time. And I just felt that was so powerful to bring out in me. This is about being out there. It's not about quietly studying or just quietly being in your relationship with God and with Christ. This is about being out there. We are to spread the word. We are to live the world. And I was always a little bit concerned before when I'm seeing these preachers and these so well spoken and scripturally knowledge people, and they start talking and they go, well, at Matthew 4:20 and Samuel 5:16 and in John, it's can almost be intimidating. It is for me. And I went, well, you know what? I'm not this way. And then I'd see these street preachers and evangelists and all these others, and it's like I was almost questioning myself. Well, you know what? Am I really saved? Because I don't act this way. I don't do this. This isn't me. But I feel saved. I feel my relationship with Christ. I feel Christ in my life every day. I feel God at every ounce and being at every piece around me. But am I doing it right? Excuse me. So it always kind of concerned me a little bit. And I was listening to another sermon, and he was sharing with the group on how one person had always been withdrawn for it or afraid to take the step because he thought that if he turned to Christ or if he became born again, he would start acting like these preachers on TV, and it put him off of it. And he kind of was laughing at it with them, but he also understood it. And I kind of started relating to that, and I relating to that whole concern about being out there and what that means. And I've kind of discovered through this week, after that Monday morning initial experience, and I paid attention to it through the week. I'm kind of learning that this doesn't matter. You are who you are. You are the same personality. You are going to be the same way. You're just 500 times better. You now are living in and with the image of Christ. So what you're worried about of being out there, there is no need for it. It's okay whether you are a street corner preacher, the best scholar in the Bible, or whether you just try to lead your life the best way as possible and be an example. That is perfect, because we are children of God, and He has our story written for us. He has His plans for us. He has His guidance for us. So whatever way we are, if we're just trying to learn more and be more through Him every day, I think that's perfect. And I think we will be perfect every day. And for the times we aren't, He's there. We are human. We are with our frailties. We are with sin. That's why Christ died for us. And that's time for us to count on our faith in those moments. Other than that, it's be out there. And that was kind of my real start to the week. It's tough being out of this matrix, and I know too through being so much more involved in watching a lot of the sermons and a lot of the Bible studies and the different resources and avenues I'm trying to learn from. There's a big difference between how people are with inside of the faith and with inside of the secular faith of Christianity. That just how unaware they really are in the whole global mechanism of how Satan is working, how he has infiltrated, what the battles of things around us are. Um, so I know it's very tough to be out of the matrix and now live in faith as well, and to move that, um, trying to live in faith and in today's world, uh, with all of this knowledge, it puts so much of the Bible and everything into perspective for me, but it's also so challenging too, that, for instance, just our money system, to realize what the fiat currency is and the usury and all of the involvement of our currency system and how it's used to subvert mankind, and how it's used with inside of Satan's plan for the world. It was one thing to be um, non-awake to my faith and be an activist and be forefront and be unplugged from the matrix and fight that wrong. And then it was a totally different story, really connecting those dots to the biblical, um, scriptural methods of non-usury and be not of this world. And everything in the scriptural was just so coming to light, in total reference to what my practical knowledge of what was going on out there was. So it's very difficult to be out of the matrix and being of faith too. It's on the one hand very easy because I now not only have some of the factual or practical evidence out there of what's going on, but now I have the actual heart space and scriptural space of backing up why I've been feeling that way. Even when it comes right down to our constitutions and the rest of it, and I ask, well, like, why do you think that's wrong? Like, where do you get your even basis of that thought that this is wrong? Um, and a lot of the scientific world and uh, theory world and everything else could never answer it. But then when I tuned it into, because God says it's wrong, it's in our DNA that this is wrong, this is morals, this is our God-given rights. And I was just seeing how much of the matrix is such a hypocrisy about how they deem that they have all these rights and they have all these um, positionings and everything, but yet they want to deny God and they want to deny where the actual source of everything comes from. So now the big challenge is how to build these bridges and to share this type of knowledge and so forth out there. So that's going to be another really interesting challenge as I progress with things. So that was kind of my beginning of the week and the first segment onto everything. And I don't know where that's going to lead me, but the other thing that I did find in some comforting thought of that was knowing this kind of out of the matrix end of it and then the faith. It's so easy to get shut down. It's so easy to become disconnected from the world, from your brothers and your sisters, to be discouraged. The problems that we're facing as mankind right now seem so insurmountable and impossible to deal with. No solutions in them, and it was funny. Kind of by Wednesday, I'm almost a little bit disheartened, and with everything that I was doing with other things, and I was ready to just kind of go. You know what? I've got God. I've got my faith. Um, you know what? I can pack everything up. Let's do the preparing end of things, and just leave it all behind, and go about your thing, and have a nice day. And wait for the return of our Lord, and He's the only one that's going to be able to solve everything anyway, and that's what's coming. And that's kind of one of the aspects I was getting. But the message I got right away from that was, don't be disheartened. Don't give up. Put your suit of armor on and stand fast. Be out there. This is this is part of your purpose. This is part of your calling. This is what I have planned for you. Be out there. Do whatever you can do. Do whatever your challenges are. I will help you. I'm here beside you. You are not alone. And it was also kind of a message of, like, let's really face it. Satan brought 1/3 of the angels of heaven fell with him. So, I mean, if Satan can fool and trick 1/3 of the angels of heaven that know God in person, why should we think that he wouldn't be so successful in the sphere of man? It is not going to be an easy battle, and it's not going to be a battle we will win. It'll be a battle God wins, and it'll be a battle that Christ will win. And we are his tools, and we are his messengers and his soldiers, and it is, I believe, our calling to be out there, to do what we can do. If it's sharing it with one more person, one more soul that comes to Christ, one more soul that gets saved, then that's our calling and that's our duty. So that was kind of my hit into the midweek, and kind of a real up and down, isn't it? It still goes one moment just being on top of the world, and the next very confused and not certain, and then the next just powerful, and away we go. So one thing I think I'm discovering really quick in this last month or so is this is a journey of up and downs, and count on your faith, count on your relationship with Christ. And I know for myself, I really enjoy speaking to him all the time. And I'm not even in my estimate anyway, a great prayer. I mean, I hear some of these other people, and they're like silver tongues and just coming out of them. But I speak to them all the time, and I'm doing so more and more, and almost automatically, without even realizing it, it's like another person is sitting beside me, and I find myself just asking questions out loud all day, and guidance all day, and all the different things and topics I touch on, and the people I talk to. I just find I'm talking in that relationship all the time, and I'm finding how much and how absolutely rewarding that really is. I'm finding it amazing, and I'm finding this journey and this privilege God has given me to live in these times and to be here and now. I feel absolutely blessed that I've been chosen for that. And I think that's one thing that we shouldn't forget is God has chosen us to live in this time, to, I actually believe, be the last generations. I feel totally blessed about it. And the more that I step out of that box and step out of that little comfort zone, the more I do feel blessed. And I think that the only result of being out there is more strength, more chances of connecting with Christ and our fellow brothers and sisters. And I think it's one of our ultimate duties to fulfill. So we'll be, I'm going to play our next song that I thoroughly enjoy, and this will give everybody a chance for a bit of a break. I understand it's Super Bowl. I really didn't realize until I got home, but it's Super Bowl. I haven't actually turned the TV on in almost better than 2 years now. Part of me unplugging from the Matrix was actually get rid of all of mainstream media and TV and that end of things, and return to books and personal connections and sharing knowledge through elders and communications and every other alternative way than the mainstream media and TV. So it is Super Bowl, but I did want to keep up with the show, and it is going to be on the archives and so forth. So I hope everybody will enjoy it through the week, and maybe after the game's over, come and take a listen. So I wanted to at least get out the show today, and I'll be right back after it, and we'll see where we continue with the discussion. Again, by all means, please call in. I'd love to hear from you. I would like some help in discussion and carrying on with the topic tonight. If you have something to share, the number is 1-866-806-6264. Let it ring. I'll be able to forward it on. When you hear an answer, you'll be prompted to put in the code of 149-952-5293, and those numbers are on the screen that you're watching now, so you won't be able to forget them, and we'll be right back. So that one is going to go, and we'll switch it over.
And God, we look to you tonight. Above the singing, God, above the music, above the songs, let your name be lifted high, Jesus. Let your name be honored, God. And we commit all that we are to you, God, everything that we do. And we reach towards you, Jesus.
Find me
Get the sound turned back on here again. And I just love their work. I just think it's so powerful. Just on our return here, I want to give a personal shout out to my partner in this great endeavor of Media Broadcast Center, Chance George. He's definitely a brother in arms here in our crusade or in our endeavors to share knowledge and truth with everybody. Um, he works exhaustively at the same time as working full time and bringing up a young family. I couldn't do things without him. Um, I think he's a great blessing to everybody, and definitely in my life to guide and teach me some of the ins and outs of trying to run my own shows and do this producing along the way and so forth. So I wanted to give a special personal thank you to him for everything he does, um, and know that you're loved with inside of this friendship and very much appreciated for everything you do. So one of the things that kind of got me through this week and going along kind of the same lines as being out there was kind of this thought of, okay, you got to be out there. We got to share. You can stay with inside of your personality. You don't have to become something that you're not. You don't have to follow what everybody else is and what God's plan is for them. Um, you can follow your own heart, follow your own guidance, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Um, but one thing that I was asking through the week was, well, one of the things that I think is very important, or one of the things that I'm experiencing on a daily basis, is the communication skills to go along with this. And how do we bridge these differences that I'm finding between um, family members and friends and co-workers, for lack of a better term, the other people and projects I'm involved in, the other groups. How to discover these ways of communicating, especially since this whole system has so segregated us and so socially engineered and basically has brainwashed us into behaving and acting in certain ways and responding in certain ways. So as I was turning on towards the end of the week, I was really starting to search for how to um, better communicate in a kinder way. As the wife says, I can kind of more be a bull in a china shop than uh, walk softly. So uh, she's a pretty good judge, so I'll have to just trust her in that, uh, whether I believe it or I don't. But uh, as they say, the wife's always right. So I'll take her word on it. Uh, but again, I was just turning and asking myself these questions. And that evening on Thursday night, I'm starting to do my studies, and I came across um, a talk between three fairly well-known um, preachers and people out there spreading the gospel. And one of the things in their talk between each other, I was really struck with is one of them came out and said doctrine should always be handled like a scalpel and never like a club. And that just really struck a chord with me in um, understanding more of what was comfortable for me, to try to learn how to communicate in this easier way without a condemnation tone or a judgmental tone. It is something between talking with these other groups about trying to bring people out of the matrix and waking them up to um, the money systems and the government systems and police systems and law and all these things. And it was seeing just how bad the social engineering was with people's acceptance of the truth. Um, and then out to me with trying to be out there and share the gospel and share the real truth of the world with the veils off of it. Um, I think it's even more important to handle this like a scalpel instead of a club. At least that approach really just triggered me. So that's one thing that I'm going to continue to work on. I see more and more positive effects as I'm learning to take my time and talking with individual conversations, no matter what the topic is. Um, because for me, either way, it all ties back into God and Christ and the teachings and the scriptures somewhere within inside of our conversation. So I think it's really important to really recognize the for me the overall teachings and walking of Christ was in such love and compassion for everybody. And I think that's one thing that in myself I really want to develop as best I can and handle doctrine and handle Christ's teaching and the sharing of the scriptures like a scalpel and not a club. It just really struck that chord with me. So that was another note I wanted to share with you. One other one with inside of that conversation that these three great people were having, and I thought it was a great format to also share. I totally enjoyed it. I've watched it a couple times now. And it might even be to the point one of these shows I might actually put it up so that everybody can enjoy it. Um, I really appreciated trying to get that kind of wisdom from people that are experienced, um, not only in the scriptures and the faith and all the rest of it, but they were really experienced in being out there and living this. And I find that very important to kind of find that shepherding, and that kind of fell into what I was doing all day today was discussing with some other people um, about being shepherds and where to find it and where to find tutoring and and how to discern that whole avenue of things. But one of the other things that I found very important with inside of that conversation they had was what was also shared was that there's absolutely a wrong way of being right. Um, and I've always uh, kind of believed that. I never just had the real simple term of putting it. Um, I've had many discussions with people going, it doesn't matter how right you are if you're not heard. What does it matter? Um, but I like the way that this was put, that there's absolutely a wrong way of being right. And again, between those two points, and again, this is just more evidence that I was having all week long about asking a question and receiving an answer, receiving that guidance, um, more validation of these continual conversations with Christ and continual connection and continual observation of looking and being open to receiving the answers. I think that is another very important component about being out there. And it is for me, and that's kind of my sharing of my experiences this week. I continue to kind of go on to those 3 or 4 real goals and subjects. I think it's a huge progression for me and how I interact in living in faith in today's world is putting these things into practice. These paying attention to there's a wrong way of being right, to handle doctrine with a scalpel and not a club, about being out there and not losing the perspective of how powerful Satan is, how much of a deceiver he is, and not letting what the condition of the world is right now defeat you or let you give up. You're blessed that you were chosen by God to be present in these times. He has his plans and his use for you now, and that's why he has you here. He's just waiting for you to accept it and to be asked to be used. In my opinion and in my experience, this is a huge connection to being able to keep your sanity and keep your morals and keep your strength up in today. And I mean, how blessed we are for having that power given to us to have Christ in our life. So this is kind of my go for tonight. I hope that it did some good for you. I hope it brought you some comfort in your week and in your day. I hope you have a chance to share it with some friends. Again, if you have comments and questions and so forth, please feel free to contact me through my own Facebook or through the Media Broadcasting Center. And by all means, share this show with your friends. We'll be here next Sunday. Hopefully I wasn't too long tonight or too long-winded. I'll let people get back to the game if they want. And I hope you have a great week. Many blessings. And as I like to say in some of my other shows, all we can do is try to be a little bit better tomorrow than we are today. And I hope that for you. Much blessings. I'll play a closing out song and then our end trailer. And we'll see you next week. I hope to hear from you. Take care.
Mercy
upon